Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Facebook Live of Change the World Marketing. And today I'm going to tell you about something that I'm working on. And sometimes I teach in here something that I'm working on. Maybe it's a little advanced for you, maybe not, but I hope that you will find it valuable. And if you're here live, you can ask questions. Otherwise, you can ask questions in the comments afterwards. So I'm going to be talking about the launch model. Now, when you look up launch on Google, they're talking about companies launching a new product, like maybe General Motors is launching a new truck or something like that. And that's not what I'm talking about. Yes, there's a similarity. You're launching a new product, but in an online product, the launch model has to do with how you structure the launch for your partners, for the people who are promoting for you. And so without that, you could, let's say, have a webinar. I mean, there are many ways to promote a product, but a very typical one is to have a webinar. And in the webinar, you give people some information, and then then at the end of the webinar, you promote your course and people buy it. And so your partners promote the webinar. And that's pretty much all they do. You just ask them to promote the webinar, and then you're responsible for converting them, for getting them to buy the course. And you do that by promoting it during the webinar itself and asking them to buy right away, but then with follow-up emails, with more information and just following up on the people who registered to try to get them to buy. So what's different? And you could not even have a webinar. You could just promote something by email, for example, and send people to a sales page. Especially if it's not a really high-priced product. And you could have partners do the same thing. You could give them some copy, some swipe copy it's called, something that you've written, sample text, and they write an email to their list, and you write an email to your list, and you all send people to a sales page, and you hope they buy. So the value of a webinar is you have more time to explain things, people get to know you a little bit, and so it's easier to sell higher-priced products with a webinar. And there are other things that you can do instead of a webinar, or in addition to a webinar. You can do a workshop, like a 3-hour workshop. I've seen people do 3-day workshops. You can do a 5-day challenge. So there are all sorts of ways that you can kind of engage people personally and then bring them to the point of hearing your offer and buying. But if you're just having that one event and you're asking your affiliates, and you're doing the same thing to send people asking people to your affiliates to send people to this one event where you sell something, or you're doing the same thing. It's not really a launch model. So that's the difference. So what is a launch model? So there are two aspects to a launch model. One of them is that there are multiple stages of things that you offer. So it's not just a webinar and then you make the offer, or email and you make the offer, something like that. Instead you'll have, let's say, usually a PDF. So sometimes it's called an ebook or a guide or whatever it is. You're sending people to something for free, and then from there you're sending people to the next thing, whether it's that master class or a workshop or a challenge, and then making the offer. So you can see there are more steps there, right? You've added that PDF at the beginning of it. So the value of doing that, it's a little bit more complicated, is to bring in people who might not feel like they have time for the webinar, or they're just not so convinced yet. It's like an easy way to bring people in something for free that they can just look at. And so, and people are attracted to that. Some people like to read still. And so you can bring in more people, and then you have more people to follow up with to get them to go to the webinar, let's say. So the first piece of what makes something the launch model is that there are multiple things that you're offering. There are stages of it. So first you offer people that freebie, that PDF, or that ebook, and then after that you send people to a webinar, let's say, and then you promote your product. Okay. So, but the second thing of it that's so cool is that you're asking your affiliates to do something slightly different. You're asking them to promote all of those stages as opposed to just one stage. So it's more complicated for them as well. You're asking them to commit a little bit more to promoting you. So they will promote first the PDF, then your webinar masterclass thingy, and then they will promote like the replay of it. Okay, so then they're going to promote the replay, and when they promote the replay, they'll say, and during the webinar, Ellen announced her new course or something like that, and then they talk about the course as well. So maybe first they'll promote just the replay, but then they'll actually send another email about the course itself, and they're promoting the course, and they'll promote the course. They'll say, now it's available. This is typically called cart open. I don't really like that term because it just sounds so technical and not useful to people who are buying, but it's really for the affiliates. So when the product is available, the course is available, that's cart open. And then there's something called cart close, which is the deadline, the last day that you can sign up for the course. So you're actually asking people to promote all of those stages. Now, they might not have to do that, and they might not do that, but you're giving them at least the option to do it, and they can pick and choose which ones they want to promote. They can go all the way through or just pick some. So in that sense, you're getting more opportunities for people to buy because people are promoting more stages of it. So again, just to compare, if you're not using a launch model, there will be just kind of one entry point. It's called an entry point. So it could be an email, it could be a webinar, and it could be a 5-day challenge or something like that. But at the end of that, there is, you make the pitch, and then people buy. So there's one entry point, and then you make the offer, people buy. In a launch, there are at least 2, and sometimes more, stages, and you ask your affiliates to promote multiple stages. So for you as the person who's creating this course, what's the difference? So it's more work, but it's not really, doesn't have to be that complicated. Basically, the more work is you have to write a lot more swipe copy, which is the sample email copy that you're giving your affiliates, because you have to ask them to promote, let's say, your PDF, okay? Then you have to ask them to promote your masterclass, and then you have to ask them to promote the replay, and then you have to ask them to promote the course itself, and then the deadline for signing up for the course. So you're writing a lot more emails. But other than that, it doesn't have to be much more complicated. Now, it's typical to give in a launch sequence. It's typical to give affiliates different affiliate links for different stages. And I would certainly think that you would want to have a different link for the PDF and then for the masterclass. But I'm not sure it's necessary to have a third one, for the actual product, but you can. And so it does mean a little bit more in terms of a little more complication in terms of setting up affiliate links from different phases of it and giving those to your affiliates. Then they have to use the right affiliate link at the right time. And I do a lot of affiliate marketing. Believe me, it gets complicated, but other than that, it's not that it's so much more, it shouldn't have to drive you crazy. It was kind of the, what I wanted to say about it. You're writing some more copy. You're creating in your shopping cart, you're creating the PDF as a product, and then the masterclass as a product, and then the actual product as a product. And so you're creating 3 products. If you do something really simple like email to a sales page, there's really only one product. And so with the launch model, that would make it more complicated. But so again, it's more work, but it's not really something more more difficult. It's just a little bit more steps that you have to have. So I just want to encourage you to think about doing a launch as opposed to a simple offer. Now, launches are generally used for higher priced products. So if something is $27, you're not going to spend, it's not worth your time to have an ebook and then have a webinar, and then announce the $27 whatever workshop that you're doing, if that's your product. So it wouldn't be worth spending that much time on people. And in fact, I do sometimes see people offering like free one-on-one discovery meetings or something to bring people into a course that isn't really all that expensive, and that is usually not worth the time. You should just do something, a one-to-many thing. Send out an email. Maybe you could do a little Facebook Live, or you could do a little Zoom meeting or something with people, and then go ahead and just sell it, as opposed to offering people something for free. Now, the free meeting makes sense when you're having a pretty high-priced product, like I would say $2,000 or more, where people are really having to think about putting in that money, and you need to sell them. You need to do a one-on-one sales conversation with them. So that would be when you would go in that direction. So let me know if you have any questions about it. And I am going to be doing a new course on email marketing, and I'm starting to incorporate some pieces of this launch model for it. So that's why I'm thinking about it. Thought I would share it with you. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.